Down to one last breath, but I can't stop now.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Kiki coming back to you with nothing but love and positivity, and I send it all your way. So, this is my update video. Today was a very interesting day at work. I actually experienced a fight in my within my group, within my students, and it was the same two people that I had talked about in my previous video. I think it was 2 videos ago. So I can tell that the full moon is really activating some behaviors. It's even bringing up some emotions in me that I just don't understand why. But first, let me talk about the student. So the boy that likes to walk around with his hand all up in his shirt, all up and showing off his boxers. He decided I'll use his initials. He's DP. That's his initials. So DP decided to come in our hallway during transition, and he just started acting really crazy, like running into the lockers, screaming, acting extra hyper than usual. And so another class came in, and this is the class that I'm supposed to take with me. And so the girl, and I call her AP, she lined up like she normally does, and she was talking to another classmate in front of her while DP was kind of like banging and falling all on the lockers trying to be funny and get attention. So I told him he needs to stop, he needs to calm down, but he kept ignoring me. So AP, she started playing, and I guess they would say horse playing around with another fellow student. DP noticed that she was playing around with another guy, so he just runs over towards her and just start jumping on her head, because at the time she was just playing around with her head kind of tilted a little bit downward with the boy. But DP just came and got just outrageous and just started, getting on her. And so she felt offended. At that point in time, I was like yelling out, y'all need to cut it out. Y'all need to cut it out. But she started swinging on him because she felt like, that was dead wrong. How you just going to come bother me and I wasn't even bothering you? So they both fighting. I was getting angry because I'm like, why in the world did he do what he did? And on top of that, that was a punk ass move to be trying to fight some young girl, and she's shorter than him. So he busy, windmilling. They both windmilling each other. I wasn't trying to break it up because, like I said, that ain't my job. But I did try to yell out and tell them they need to cut it out. They need to stop. So another teacher ran up and grabbed her up and then pulled her to the side. But he was automatically like, almost like in his feelings, getting mad with her. And I'm like, she didn't start it. I saw the whole thing. She did not start it. But she already got like a reputation of fighting a lot. But I can tell that she tries to prove a point because she's a little small, petite student. She's not the average 4th grade size. So they removed the boy. Basically, they both went home. But it's like, I guess I do need to heal. I still got some healing to do. Healing is an ongoing process. So it's not like an overnight thing. And it doesn't even matter how many tools, how much you research, how much you get all the guidance and help you need. It's an ongoing process. It's not an overnight thing, especially if you got piles of trauma that you're trying to heal from. But that fight just bothered my nerve because it's like, I don't know why boys or even guys feel like beating on a woman is going to change how they feel and how they think. I just don't get that. And mind you, I was always fighting a lot when I was in school. I was more like the quiet, dumb girl type of girl. And it's like, I never started a fight, but I was always the one to end the fight. That's kind of how it was. And I'm not trying to boast or brag or anything like that. It was just, boys have a hard time expressing themselves verbally. And I mean, there is research out there showing that girls are a lot more advanced when it comes to communication and emotions. So that alone already says that we just got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. But it's like when I was in elementary school, most of my fights was with guys. And I didn't have problems with guys. It's just they would always tease me and come after me. Like one boy decided to pull my chair. Now back then, Miami Gardens Elementary. This boy, and I cannot remember this boy. He didn't have a normal name. He already had a funny sounding name, so he was already in his feelings about that. But I didn't name him. He pulled my chair from up under me when I was getting ready to sit down. Back then we had hard wooden chairs. And I fell back and ended up hitting my head on the chair. But I wasn't trying to fight him. I was just angry, like, why would you do something like that? And I just gave him this dirty look. And so a friend of mine was like, man, you shouldn't let him get away with that. That was dead wrong. That was dead wrong. And I was like, yeah, but I don't feel like going through it with him. But it did hurt real bad. I hit the back of my head and it hurt real bad. And so my friend was trying to instigate it. I guess she wanted to see a fight anyway, because I was always quiet and I never like, getting into any kind of confrontation. And so this was actually my I think this was fourth grade, third or fourth grade when this happened. And so the boy, I guess, fell for the okie doke and got all hyped up like, oh, okay, we gonna fight. And I'm like, oh God, I do not want to have to fight this boy. But okay, if that's what you want, I'll give you what you want. So we get outside, getting ready to transition to another class, and he comes up to me, and it wasn't really no real long fight, because I kind of like pop like a good 2 to 3 times, and he holding his head down trying to get back at me. But see, I had a little bit more experience with fighting because I had to learn how to fight at home with my cousins, with my male cousins. So I already had a little practice on fighting. And I'm not saying I was a professional, but I knew how to accept a lick or two without breaking down and falling out. But yeah, I got on him and I was beating on him so bad. It was like I made up for the old and new. I was beating him up because first off, he pulled a chair, he hurt my head. Secondly, he wanted to fight me after I was trying to give him a chance and forgive him. Then on top of that, I didn't want to be in school. I had just left my mama. I had to go stay with my grandma. So I had a whole lot of pent up anger. Yes, I did. And once he opened up the can of worms, it was like I had a lot of built up. It was more like I was just angry. I was a cute little smiley girl, very calm, very patient. But at the same time, I was like boiling on the inside because I was just so frustrated with the way people was acting and the way life was going. So it went from me, going along. I mean, of course, I got suspended and all this and that. But the teacher had to grab me off him because he just couldn't believe that I was able to fight back and hang with him to the point where he just started, going in a fetal style because he couldn't believe it. And my teacher was like kind of shocked, but she already knew that he was aggravating me and I wasn't a troublemaker. So, but either way it goes, we kind of experienced a consequence. And so that was one of my memorable elementary fights. I already did a video about a few of my high school fights. My last fight in high school was with it was during my 11th grade year. And this guy named Ryan, he was very popular because, all the girls kind of flocked to him because, he wasn't a bad looking dude. He had some good, good hair on his head and always kept his stuff up, and he had his little vehicle and everything like that. And, but even though I was new to the school, and this was in Tallahassee, I was new to the school, I still kind of minded my own business. I had a few guys that, tried to talk to me, and, I kind of talked to him back. But Ryan, I just knew he was full of it. I knew he was always playing a girl's face. And plus, I heard he had a baby on the way. So I ain't want to have nothing to do with that because I knew drama was going to come with that. But apparently, because he thought it was funny to go around, because we had the same class together, and it was more like a laid-back elective class. He felt like, okay, so he got a chance to feel on some other girls and put his hand in his shirt, and he thought it was funny. So everybody else laughed at it and didn't make a big deal about it. But he picked the wrong person when he came across me and put his hand down in my shirt while he came up behind me and just put his hand down and grabbed my titty, and then thought that was so funny and thought that I was going to laugh like the other girls and let him get away with that. And I got up and I swung on that dude in the face, and it was like a echo sound in his mouth. It was like, and he was like, what? She actually did that? She hit me in front of my homeboys? Because he had his little flunky crew following behind him. But so he got so angry with me. And then, instead of him, I guess, trying to really fight me, he picked up a chair and just slung it real hard against the wall. And I guess that was supposed to scare me up. But he just kept saying, I got you after school. I got you after school. I said, okay, we can do this. We can do this. You want to meet me after school? Let's do this. Mind you, nothing ever went down. He ain't never show up. I hung around just to see if he was that type of dude. But either way it goes, he still got his karma because not too long after that, his girlfriend had the baby, and he had to babysit the baby, and he got angry with the baby and shook the baby so hard to where the baby ended up with brain lesions and issues. And what make it so crazy and so just karma be working, boy. When I graduated from high school, like a couple of years after that, I ended up working for a child care center, and his baby ended up in my class. I was like, what do you know? beautiful, beautiful little boy. And he did not act nothing like his daddy. I don't know what was wrong with his daddy, but yeah, his daddy let his ego get the best of him and messed around with the wrong person. But yeah, it's like I seem to always struggle with getting along with guys. And it's not like I didn't know how to really communicate and get along with guys. It's just a lot of them didn't express like, okay, yeah, I like you. Or yeah, I want to fuck. Or yeah, I want to, see what you're all about. It's almost like they got to do something stupid in order to get my attention. And I don't respond like the average girl, even though, like, let me tell you, when people start labeling me as a hoe, that's because they got dumped or they got blocked. That's pretty much it. If I ain't cooperating and going along with the program that they want me to go along with, then that's when they want to consider me as a hoe. But the crazy part about it, through all my struggles, even in my relationship, because that fight with those two kids today, it just reminded me of my marriage too. Because like I never wanted any kind of physical altercation with my ex-husband. I never wanted that. But when he got in my face and invaded my space and trying to bully me to do what he want me to do, yeah, he got the wrong side of me. But the problem is, I wasn't really trying to have no altercation with him, and he just outpowered me, and I just had to go with the program. So, but yeah, now he get to brag that he managed to hurt another female. I guess he can put that on his record. But the thing is, I love black men. Yes, I do. I really, really pray and hope that one day we all can just get along. They all can just really understand females' emotions, and we all can have better communication. I really do. But I just know one thing. Anytime a guy got a result to putting his hand on a female, I just see him as a punk ass. That's just it. I don't care what. You can beat the woman ass. You already know that. And I ain't gonna lie. There's some women out there can hang with you. Some women out there been through a lot of fights and they got a lot of skills under their belt. But I feel like there's always a way to avoid confrontation. I tried to avoid confrontation throughout my life, even within my marriage. I told my ex, I said, you need to move out of my face. You need to get out of my space. And he, like, I was supposed to bow down and cry and go run with my tail between my legs. I'm not finna kiss ass. No more. Now, but I still love them. I still love black men. I still love and have faith in them. But when they come to me with their ego being big and bad and buff, like they some kind of gorilla or some kind of pack, then I got to remind them, I got a little bit of gorilla in me too. And so you come to me with respect, come with me with transparency. We all good. We good. We can live happily ever after. But other than that, yeah, these boys nowadays, some of them been influenced by Ike and Tina situation because they swear up and down if a girl don't like them or do what they want them to do, they want to kick ass. Like, go fight somebody your own size, But and that's one thing that I went through. It's like my ex, he knew that a lot of the males in my family wasn't near me and wasn't around, wasn't really that close, and so he prayed on that. But if my cousins was nearby, he would have been in for a rude awakening. And I noticed that's his pattern. He'll love you up and cheer you up, but once you get on his bad side, oh no, he treating you like some trick. But yet he want to backtrack and say, oh, I miss you and we need to be together. Man, a lot of these men need counseling. A lot of them need help. And I know they can't help it because, like I said, a lot of toxic behavior has been etched in our bloodline from our colonizers and oppressors. And so learned behavior, it gets easily triggered. So, but anyway, yeah, I just wanted to update y'all on that fight. Of course, the little girl, she tried to hang with him. He ended up causing her to cut her lip and a little bit, but she was tough. She was like, okay. And I said, well, I really don't want to write this referral, but we got to do what we got to do. And she was like, I understand. I own up to it. So, and I consider it as self-defense, but it is what it is. I guess nowadays, when your child try to take up for themselves and fight back, that's a big no-no. It's like a lot of backward stuff I'm noticing. Just like I was talking about the other little student that ended up making a C. It's like, in order for him to continue to get services and governmental support, he got to keep making Fs. If they start improving and increasing their scores, then they say, okay, they're no longer able to get the IEP services. It's just a lot of backward stuff going on. And maybe one day it'll make sense to me. But other than that, until the next story of working at a Title II school, stay tuned. Be easy, be blessed. Peace out.
Down sometimes, yeah, but that's just life. So cross my heart and hope to die. Baby, I was born to fight the fear when I feel like dying. I'm trying to fly high, but I'm not a pilot, can't deny it. There's some days I feel idiotic.